Welcome to the Crochet Cakes YouTube channel. In this Afro Crochet podcast, we're going to be announcing a giveaway winner for the celebration crochet along that is towards the end of the podcast. Today we're also going to be talking about feeling stuck, some projects I've been working on, some books that I've been reading, and some projects that I've finished. So if that sounds like your cup of tea or coffee or caffeine, then do grab one of those beverages of choice and come sit down with me so we can have a crafty chat. I myself just have water today because I am thirsty. I haven't been drinking enough water since I got back from Puerto Rico. You can probably tell I'm in my crafty office, crafty little crochet corner in Florida. Sip of hydration. Okay, so first off, I hope that you've been keeping well. I know we haven't sat down to have a kind of one-on-one crafty chat in a while, but we're here. We've made it. It is April. Wow, has the month, all the months just flown on by. January was the slowest month, which I talked about in January, and I was very grateful for because I feel that it gave you time to just get into the groove of what you were going to be doing, what to expect for the year. Maybe set your intentions for the year, but no pressure, because as I've been reading in my 5 Resets book, I'll put the official title here on the screen for you, and of course you will find a link to the book in the description box below, because as well as all the chapters, links that I talk about and such are in the description box below for your viewing pleasure and ease of watching, because you can skip to whatever part kind of interests you or whatever part you want to review. That being said, as I was saying, as we've learned with the 5 Resets book, any change for our brains is stressful, which is why most New Year's resolutions don't work, because you're trying to change, or I should say, we're trying to change too many things at once. But before we get into any of the nitty-gritty, crafty, yarny content of this podcast, let's talk about what I'm wearing. I realize you can't really see it, so I'm gonna stand up, do a little loop-de-doop, and there will be a voiceover telling you what I'm wearing. Ooh, boy, I've just crammed myself in here today. I am wearing vest number 2 in my favorite outfit combo, which is wearing the vest with a pair of knit shorts and my mushroom cardigan. I love this combination, and it's this is my second iteration of this vest. That felt like I was doing a very awkward and weird dance. Yeah. So as you heard me tell you, this is the vest number 2. This is the second iteration, or the second vest number 2 that I made. This one is made with Cloudborne Pima cotton. I don't think Cloudborne does yarn anymore, so unfortunately you cannot get this. But the vest was originally designed with yarn art jeans, and you can find yarn art jeans on Amazon. I will leave a link for that yarn in the description box below. I've thoroughly talked about this yarn before, so I will link the video if you're interested in hearing my love letter to yarn art jeans. Other than that, I think this vest would look really, really good in kind of like a slinky yarn, so a bamboo or a trueboo type of yarn, and it will give you more of a loose summer top feel than the rigidness of the Pima cotton or the yarn art jeans. And technically, what I'm wearing is a finished object, but it is a finished object from way back when. So let's move into some recent finished objects. And if you caught my vlog about March making a week in my crafty life, which I hope you did, I had so much fun filming it. And thank you for all those kind comments of everyone just letting me know how much they enjoyed spending crafty time with me in an informal setting as our vlogs. And I have to say, not only am I very thankful for your comments, I'm also very thankful for the love that you showed the video, because I loved filming it for you. I love filming vlogs, but I don't often do them because even though they are crafty vlogs, I feel that you're here for tutorials and podcast and project recommendations and maybe not vlogs. But if that's a mistake on my part, then do let me know. Let's open up that conversation in the comment section about whether you prefer vlogs or podcasts. I know I've asked this before, but you always hear such, good opinions on it, and I'm always open to hearing those. Anyway, the reason I was talking about the vlog was because that crafty week, we finished a lot of projects. We did a basket, which I am thoroughly enamored with and would like to recreate for me and for you. It was a very quick, easy make and dread useful. And also, we finished lovely coasters. Lovely. I really liked making those egg coasters. They've been on my Ravelry project page forever, so the fact that I can now say I made them and I loved making them in those Eastery colors, I'm happy with that. Also, they do not just have to be Easter coasters. If you don't celebrate Easter or Ostera or any type of festival that is associated with the month of spring, then that's okay. They don't have to be eggs. So not only did we finish those, but a project that you saw me working on during that week was also the V-stitch raglan sweater that I have back here. I will insert a video over myself because I know that the sweater is not in focus right now. But this is the last, hopefully last video installment of this series, which is just going over some finishing touches that you might want to do for the V-stitch raglan. And to review, I crocheted mine in 100% fingering weight yarn. I used 190 grams of yarn to crochet my top. It is quite cropped because that's how I wanted it to be. I wanted this to be a summer garment, so I didn't want it to be really tight or really long because summers are hot, okay? And even if wool breathes and wicks away moisture, sometimes you just can't bear leaving your house with any clothes on. So, you know, it's for those types of days. I absolutely love crocheting this top, and it's in part due to the fact that it was so easy to keep track of what I was doing, as is normal with raglan sweaters, because once you're done with the increases, it's just sit in front of the TV or hear an audiobook or read a book and work on your top, which thrills me. I have to say, it really does. Not only that, but the yarn that I used, mamma mia, que cosa deliciosa. It was so buttery. I cannot describe how much I love yarn from Stitchcraft and Wizardry. And specifically, I think this is her Elf House Liberty base. I may be wrong. If I am, I'll put it on the screen. But it's such a plump fingering weight, and that's what I love about it. Okay, I'm going to stop raving about this because we have quite a list of finished objects to go through, but you know, as stated in the book The Humans by Matt Haig, I think that's how you say his name, to like something, only like something, it does it a disservice. You either love it or hate it. Be passionate about it. Anyway, we also have something that I finished yesterday, literally yesterday, and that is a crochet oven mitt. And this one is not Tunisian crochet. This one is crochet. I don't want to call it normal crochet because Tunisian crochet is also normal, but you know what I mean. And it's fully functional. Hello. It's fully functional. And I've even lined it with some gorgeous mushroom fabric. I literally finished this yesterday. The tutorial part of it is also filmed, but I want you guys to vote. I have 2 thermal stitch projects to share with you other than the Teapot Cozy, which is already live on my channel. One of them is this beautiful, beautiful piece of functional crochet art. And the other is this. This is an ascot scarf, or a Miss Marple scarf as we all currently call them. I believe the proper name is a keyhole scarf because you put it around your neck and then you take one end of the crochet and you insert it in another, and I love this. I absolutely love this scarf. I've been meaning to create it for like a year and a half. I literally had the notes a year and a half ago of how I wanted it to go. This is a kind of necktie scarf that also uses the thermal stitch. So, which would we rather have? A crochet oven mitt that uses the thermal stitch, or this necktie that also uses the thermal stitch? Differences, of course. One's a mitt, one's a necktie, but the mitt is crocheted with cotton yarn. This one is crocheted with DK weight wool yarn, specifically the colorway EDM from Hawthorne DK. I think that is correct. From the lovely company We Crochet. You guys know I love their yarn, so mostly I tend to crochet in their yarn. The oven mitt though is crocheted with peaches and cream. Yeah, peaches and cream. The color here is Oasis. So which tutorial would we rather see next? Would we rather see the thermal stitch scarf or the crochet oven mitt? I'm excited. I want to hear your thoughts. I absolutely love both of these projects for different reasons, of course. And also, I think I want to try crocheting this scarf in fingering weight because I think it would make a great light spring summer garment. Well, accessory. And this one, of course, it's cotton because things get hot and you need something that is heat resistant, and cotton is heat resistant. Can you tell I'm excited about all these projects? Beautiful crochet. Let me know which of those tutorials you would like first. And now we can move on to things I'm working on. So the number one thing I'm working on is my husband's shirt. This is a saga. Not only is it crocheted in fingering weight wool, but I crocheted it very small, very short. It was for a hobbit husband, even though I swear I measured like 3 times. He must have grown. I swear he must have grown. Anyway, we're almost done actually. We have crocheted, well, knit actually. It's a knit project. We have picked up and knit quite a bit. I did a reel recently crying about it and then showing how I picked up the stitches, so I'll link that for you below. I also did a YouTube short, so if you don't like using Instagram, you can just watch it right here on YouTube. But we are almost at the end. I wanted this to be particularly oversized, and you can tell that I did not in any way, shape, or form. What do you call that? What do you call that? When you have indie dyed yarn and you like switch the yarn you're using every round? Intercalar. It's in Spanish. You know what? You understand what I mean, right? When you just have cake up your yarn and every round you complete it in a different cake so that you don't get the color pulling or the dye lot differences, even though it's the same dye lot. It is, because I bought all that was left of this yarn for my husband. But I really like this pattern. I'm gonna take very good notes after. Oh no, I dropped stitches. Please insert very sad music. I don't know. Every music is copyrighted nowadays, so I don't know. Anyway, insert whatever sad music you want to do because I gotta pick up those stitches. As I was saying. So after I complete this round of knitting, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch to crochet. I like crocheting my ribs in knitting sometimes just to give the project stability, and I do want to add weight to the bottom of the project, and crochet stitches way more than knit stitches. I think it's a good combination though because the yarn is very thin, very drapey, and it creates a very summer friendly fabric. I think this is literally one of those wool pieces that you can use in the summer because it is very, very lightweight. And the reason I am racing to the finish line on this one is because my husband is brilliant, and he, without my knowing, had saved up enough money so that we could take a trip this year. And it just so happens that plane tickets to Japan were very cheap. Sadly for the Japanese people, the yen has dropped a lot. For foreigners trying to visit Japan, it is a better thing because hotels were cheaper. I kid you not. We were originally going to go to Toronto, and for the 7 days that we were going to be in Toronto, the hotel cost the same as the 13 days we're going to be in Japan. And those 13 days include a very expensive onsen. So yeah, I am very aware of how fortunate I am to have a husband that not only supports what I do, but carries most of the financial burden. Because, hey, I'm not one of those content creators that's making, you know, 1,000 a month even. So it's very wonderful that he's so supportive of this, because he knows it makes me happy to be able to create content that other people love and enjoy and find inspiration in, or find new ideas. You know, it's just beautiful. Okay, you know what? I'm not going to make you cry. I'm not going to make myself cry. I already feel like crying because I dropped stitches. So, husband sweater will have to be ready by May. It will. It will be, actually. And I'm kind of sad to see it go. Has that ever happened to you, where you're working on a project and you're dying to finish it, and then when you're close to the finish line, you're like, oh, but I will miss you. So I may in the future be casting on another one of these. I don't know if for him or for me, but I will be. I really enjoyed this pattern. Okay, so, oh, I didn't tell you, this project is knit in Amirisu yarn, which we purchased in the store Walnut Tokyo in January of 2023 when we visited Japan for the first time. And how lucky am I that I get to say for the first time. I'm excited. Let me know if you would like me to vlog about our journey in Japan. I did a vlog the first time we went about all the yarny stores we visited and all of that, and I do want to visit some of those again, but I want to be a better vlogger. I do. So let me know if a vlog about our trip to Japan is something that interests you. It interests me, definitely. Okay, so that is one of the projects I'm working on. The other project that I'm working on is my participation in the celebration crochet along, which was a crochet along that I hosted during the month of March so that we could celebrate whatever we wanted. I was celebrating my birthday. You could celebrate whatever. Life, a good cup of tea, a book that just drew you in and cast a spell and remade you, whatever. So thank you, by the way, to Mad Ninja Hooker. I don't know if you want me to say your name, but thank you. I think based on the tags and everything, you were the only participant this year, and not only that, but you made a beautiful eat cake sweater and kind of inspired me to make another one. Yeah, I am. I wonder if I should buy yarn in like the first day we get to Japan and then crochet a sweater with that yarn immediately. Oh, Clarissa, please do not do that to yourself. Just don't. Anyway, celebration crochet along. Oh, I am in pieces. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Okay, this is yarn that's detached. Oh, guys, you don't want to know the mess right now. And it's all falling. Okay. So I was doing the vintage Echo cardigan, but I was remaking it in a sweater because I was reworking it with fingering weight bamboo yarn instead of DK weight bamboo yarn. And yes, when you change the yarn, you really do need to change your numbers, and also take into account that not all bamboo cotton yarns are created equal. Some have more bamboo than cotton, and that will affect the drape and stretch of your garment. So in this case, I'm using Yonky Monkey in a beautiful colorway. And I've crocheted all the back panel and one of my front panels. I had actually crocheted all of it, and when I was going to seam it together, I realized that I did one of the stitches completely wrong. So I had to rip back that panel, and that is a panel that I hope to finish today after I film and spend some crafty time with you, my lovely friends. What can I tell you about this? If you're interested in the cardigan, it was recently updated because I realized there were some mistakes in, like, not mistakes per se, but I realized I could have been more generous with some of the instructions. So I went back and I fixed that, and I also added notes. There was a lack of notes in that pattern, and notes are important because I am not there to crochet it with you, but the notes kind of give you a guidelines of what I would do if I were you and I was crocheting. You know what I mean? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe that sounds crazy. Okay, so I'm just finishing up the panel and then I will seam it. Not sure if this will be a new pattern. Depends. If you guys want it to be a new pattern, it will be a new pattern. And maybe, perhaps, you may need some tutorial guidelines. I don't know. The stitch is quite easy, and you're really working it in 3 panels. The most complicated thing we're going to be doing is doing short rows in the neck shoulder area, and then we need to seam down the middle. And the reason we're seaming down the middle is because I did try to work this project up in 2 panels, but the polka dot stitch is a lot smaller row-wise than what I call the lazy daisy stitch, which is this one. And it would have been, I did try to do a sample and it was just weird. Like the lazy daisy stitch scrunched up like this. So we would actually, now that I think about it, that could have been kind of cool, right? A little rouge in the middle. Not rouge, ruffle. Ruffle. I think not talking to you for a month or so has just made me a little crazy. Just a little bit. Okay. So those are the projects that I'm actively working on, and yes, I am only actively working on these 2 projects because I want to get them done. So, okay. All right, what do we got? Well, I know we've been talking about crochet for 20 minutes already, but let's talk about crochet a little bit more. Specifically, spring crochet patterns, projects, ideas. I want to know, what are you drawn to during the hotter months of the year? And let me tell you, we've been blessed with great Florida spring weather this year. Like the mornings are in the 60s and then the highs are like 78, 80. It's been gorgeous, especially when there's wind. The wind has been cool because Florida usually doesn't have wind, at least where I live. Anyway, we are rambling about the weather now, and the reason I brought up the weather was because spring fashion. Now, I feel that if you kind of followed spring trends, as in high fashion spring trends, you know that one of the trends is like oversized trench coats, and another one is very lacy items. So I'm talking about, in terms of crochet, we're going to be using very open crochet stitches that just kind of like let you breathe. They feel like walking air conditioned because you're just wearing a bra or maybe a thin camisole, and all those little holy bits in your crochet are just letting the air flow. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. If you are yourself looking for patterns that just let the air flow, I got you. I do. One of the things I'm going to bring up, because it's one of my favorites, it's what I'm calling the Secret Garden collection. I haven't officially created a bundle on Ravelry or Etsy or even my website about the Secret Garden collection, but it is the collection that uses the flower stitch. Now, the flower stitch, as you can see, it's a very open, lacy stitch. We can combine it here with the Flower Garden vest, which, by the way, it's out now if you're interested. This one combines cotton and mohair, but I will say it creates a super lightweight fabric, and because of this open stitch in the bottom, it's not as hot as it could be. It's also sleeveless. Of course, you can leave out the mohair and then try working it up. I would like work it up in not Kobu, but the LB collection cotton bamboo, or the Yonky Monkey, you know, something thin and drapey and flowy that will contribute to that air conditioning quality of your crochet. Other items that I just kind of have been looking at are, of course, the Malibu Barbie bralette by the lovely, gorgeous, beautiful goddess mermaid, Chelsea of Knitting Tipsy. She designed a Malibu Barbie bralette, which is in Granny Stitch. So if you're a Granny Stitch lover, get ye over to Chelsea's Ravelry page, which I will link for you in the description box, and grab the pattern and grab some yarn. I have yarn that I'm going to be using to make this pattern. The reason I haven't started yet is because I am saving this particular project and this particular yarn for the summer romance crochet along. Yes, you guys know we did a live last year for the summer romance crochet along to end it, and we voted. All of us voted. We did submissions and we voted that this year's theme for the summer romance crochet along is going to be enemies to lovers. Yep, that's the theme, enemies to lovers. It's not restricted to sci-fi, historical. No, you pick whatever genre of literature, movies, manga, anime, plays, fan fiction, whatever. Enemies to lovers. Go. I've picked mine out. I picked it out last year. Like, immediately, as soon as we settled on the theme, I knew that I wanted to cover one of the books from the Accidental Bride series, which is a sci-fi romance series that I read last year. Also, just giving you forewarning, the summer romance cal starts usually in June and runs until August. So if you've been saving money to purchase a Kindle Unlimited subscription, this is the month. This is the month where we're gonna read all there is to read and watch all there is to watch about romance. I don't know how fond you are of enemies to lovers. I vacillate between liking it and not liking it. I feel that you really have to do a good, proper character development to have a good enemies to lovers. That's just me. Let me know. Do you feel the same? I'm going to be talking dates to her pretty soon. And you can check out my Instagram, my Discord, and my newsletter. Any of those for any updates on the summer crochet along. So those are two patterns that I think would be great for spring. Another one, I really like some of the tunics / open sweaters that are designed by Rosanna of Moara Crochet. She has one that I particularly like. She tends to design intermediate crochet patterns, which is great. It's like something to push you a little bit beyond what we would consider advanced beginner crochet. And I mean, intermediate, advanced, it all depends on how much work you're willing to put into understanding the instructions for the pattern and understanding the skill sets needed. I often like choosing at least one pattern a year that I would consider advanced or uses skills that I've never used before, because I like the challenge of it. I like looking at this and being like, wow, I would have never thought of doing this. Or what are other ways I can incorporate this technique into other designs that I've seen? So yes, don't be afraid to push yourself. I will, of course, include a more comprehensive list of open stitch patterns in this week's newsletter, which goes out on Sunday. I think I'd already done a little bit of the Ircon crochet at the beginning of spring, but I kind of want to keep adding to that list. So I'm going to check what I had already included in that list, and this week I will add some more for you guys to explore. Have fun choosing those projects, okay? I think they're all great. And now, without further ado, the Celebration Crochet Along giveaway goes to Matt Ninja Hooker. Thank you for participating in the crochet along. Please contact me through Ravelry or Instagram or through my email so that I can have your address and I can send the goodies your way. And what you are winning is kind of like a sampler pack of We Crochet yarns. Now, this is not sponsored in any way by We Crochet. I purchased these yarns. These were yarns that I had left over from projects, but they are full skeins, okay? So I have some 100% wool yarn for you to try, some alpaca linen blend yarn, and little things like that that are included in the package. So I hope that you enjoy, and of course you don't need to feel obligated to accept. If you feel like you have enough yarn and you are not ready to adopt anymore, then do let me know what you would like and I will send it to you. I am very excited to see this get to you. Thank you so much for participating and being supportive and leaving such lovely comments. Okay, so congratulations once again. And let's now ride our bikes down to reading lane. I've read quite a few books, some of them new, some of them were rereads. what are some of your comfort reads? Because when I'm looking for comfort, I tend to, of course, gravitate to books that I've already read, not genres. I literally reread books when I require comfort. And some of my comfort books that have made it into this list that are definitely Northanger Abbey, although that one's a more of a comfort watch, I have to say. But the series, Dangerous Damsels series by India Holton, has been on that list ever since I read The Wisteria Society of Lady Scoundrels. I just love the writing, and you've, of course, heard me just say everything I possibly can say about the very secret society of irregular witches. That is also a comfort read. But this month I started rereading The Wisteria Society of Lady Scoundrels, and I finished reading The League of Gentlewoman Witches, which is the second book in the series of the Dangerous Damsels. I also read, oh my goodness, let me check my book. Now, if you follow my newsletter, you've seen some of these books because I've already talked about my thoughts and feelings on these books. But other books that I read during March that I really, really like were, of course, Bookshops and Bone Dust. This is the prequel for Legends and Lattes, and I talked about that in the first March vlog that I did, and I cried. I cried. Another one that I read and I talked about in my newsletter was A Murder to Remember. This was an audiobook, and I have mixed feelings about this one. I loved the plot line. This was the first time I ever read a cozy mystery, and I don't know if they're for me. Some people might have found the plot to be a little bit ridiculous and they could have guessed what would have happened, but I was on the edge of my seat. The reason I have mixed feelings about this one, A Murder to Remember, is because I felt that the book was entirely too long for the plot that was mapped out. That was just me. Well, I know it wasn't just me, because if you go on Goodreads, a lot of people think the same, but I did love the characters. I loved all the Jane Austen references, and the fact that it's not only a book about, you know, this murder mystery or the romance, it's also a book about dealing with life-changing situations and finding someone that you can get through a life-changing situation with. So I really appreciated that one. Another one that I also talked about in my newsletter was Told You So. This was also an Audible original, so you can't get either one of these two books that I'm talking about unless you're subscribed to Audible. Now, Told You So, I don't know if I liked it more than A Murder to Remember, but I liked it for different reasons. And let's just start from the beginning. I had issues getting into the story, not because of the story itself, but I have this thing where I'm very anxious about starting new books, and I tend to detach from what is happening, and I just listen to it from a very detached point of view. And then after the book is over, I'm like, all right, it's safe to reread this. Unfortunately, that is not something you can do with Audible, because Audible tends to cancel your subscription at the exact time that you ordered it a month later if you cancel, you know? So that was upsetting. Couldn't re-listen to it. But the best way to describe I Told You So is a true 90s rom-com. It really was. At first, it seemed like it was going to be like a love square because there were 3 male interests and 1 female, but then it becomes particularly clear which ones are the favored male interests, and of that, only one of them gets a lot of the attention, so you kind of know where the story is going. But it was lovely because it wasn't just a rom-com. You know, there was character development. I do have one bone to pick with it, and it's that the main female character goes from supposedly hating the male character to immediately falling in love with him. I mean, I guess hate is like a passionate form in and of itself, and when you learn the reasons behind certain things, it might shift your affections or your attentions from that to the other extreme. I don't know the psychology behind it, the science behind it, or the, you know, emotional response behind it, but that was just my bone to pick. However, I did enjoy that it was a story about dealing with grief as well, dealing with feeling left behind by your friends when you feel that you're in different stages of life and things like that. So it was a very, very good listen. It was also kind of 10 hours, I think, but it was a very good listen. And the last book that I wanted to just lightly discuss with you today is The 5 Resets, a book about building a more resilient lifestyle and managing stress. It's not about living stress-free, because that is just not possible. We have healthy stress, which helps us complete tasks during the day, and we have unhealthy stress, which is what really leads to unhealthy everything and also burnout. So I think collectively as a society, we have been dealing with unhealthy stress for a long time. It really kind of like just became super obvious in 2020. So my stress and my toying with burnout really began in 2021 when I chose to become a full-time content creator. And I chose that willingly. I chose that because I love creating content and sharing it with you guys and being able to share in our love of crafting and trying to create the world just better through our connections, through the friendships that we foster, through the crafting community. And that's why I chose to become a full-time content creator. But I was putting a lot of pressure on myself to generate the same income that I left. And that didn't happen. That still hasn't happened. And it almost led to burnout, honestly, now that I look back on it. And so when I heard about the book, The 5 Resets, on the podcast, The Diary of a CEO, I was immediately intrigued by this. And it's been wonderful. So far I've just been listening to the audiobook. I haven't put into practice or, done any of the tests that she has you do because I want to give it a good listen first, and then I'm going to go back and start the actual process of the 5 resets to learn how to manage unhealthy stress. Man, speaking of little pleasures here and there, I hung out with Chelsea last week and it was literally a breath of fresh ocean air. It's so nice to not only spend this virtual crafty time with you, but to like actually spend crafty time with people. I think it's amazing and wonderful, and if you can do it, then please go out and do it. Join a crafty group, find a crafty friend, even if you can just do it once every 2 months. It is beautiful to share that in real life. So thank you so much for joining me today for this crafty and kind of book update chat. I am so glad that I was able to spend this crafty time with you. I hope that you enjoy the projects that I'm working on, and if you have any suggestions of projects that you think I should try for spring, then do let me know in the comments section. And also please share, what are you working on currently? I love sharing that. I'm nosy. I like knowing what people are up to, and Instagram doesn't always show you what people are up to, so Speaking of, if you want to share what you're up to in a crafty community, then you can join the Discord server. I will put the link in the description box as well. And once you read through the rules and you acknowledge that you've read the rules, then you're granted access into all the other channels in the server. We have a channel for general chatting. We have a channel for what we're crafting. The what we're crafting channel is very organized, just in case you ever think, oh, somebody was working on such a project, but I can't remember who. You can go on the what we're crafting channel and search.
Your NAND bread timer is done.
Alright, so that is Alexa reminding me that I need to stop chatting with you because I actually have 2 doughs that need attention right now. I have a yeast dough, which is maybe overproofed, I don't know. And I have a non-bread dough, as you heard. So I'm going to let you go. And I love you guys. I do. Have a happy crafting, and I will see you in the next video. Bye! Say hello.